Now, Bristle,
Yes.
you said last week that the lists must stop.
Yeah, not doing
And no one's listened, because since then there have been 1,000 in the tissues.
Yeah, don't ask
But
me
he
to
then
do
did
it.
a list, Jim.
He did.
He then did a list.
He did.
Of the great cock-ups on Triple M footy over the journey.
Now, listen, because I despise lists, I don't want ever see anyone coming up with lists, Damo. I know
Yep.
you're...
No, I despise
your
them.
paper friends. That's list after list
All
after
they do.
list, and even on the Triple M social, it's bloody list of kicks
Yes.
and lists of tackles and lists of missed tackles. I mean, when is all this going to end?
I see
I can't stand lists.
on social media today, Damo, there's a list of the DUI All-Stars on the back of the week.
Well, this
We might leave that on social media.
I've decided to come up with a list and join the
Oh,
list
so you got a list.
because
Hello.
it's not far from the one you just mentioned, JB.
Well, and it comes out of Swanee.
Comes out of on the back of what Dane Swan had done on social during the week about his best 22 off the field, right?
which was a good list.
Yeah, and we're just looking for our best off-field operators, Duck, and you would know a few of them because you're probably high on one of the lists. But
So what are we doing? You,
so
Bill, and Duck.
we're going to have 7 each. Bill, I haven't given you pre-warning about this. 7 picks for you.
7?
Duck, I haven't told you. 7 for you,
Oh.
7 for me. That's
Not
21.
Surely not 7 for
What,
Damo.
has Jim got a pick?
No, 7.
Bill, why not 7?
He
for
wouldn't
Damo?
have 7 mates.
Oh,
You would not, Damo. Imagine Damo's 7 mates.
No, Damo, just 1 for you.
has Jim got a say in this?
No, I'm chairing the meeting.
Jim can just look on and make the odd
And
comment.
does mine have to be a journo, mate?
All right.
Yeah, probably. Who
Preferably.
else you got? Give us another mate that's not a journo.
Let's look at Bill.
Hang on. Wait.
Oh, Sean Simpson like you.
Wait. Still
Here.
waiting for your mate that's not a journo.
Look at Fat get his eye in.
Oh.
Hang on, that's a long wait.
That's an,
Hang on, the music will cut in a minute.
that's an awkward silence.
Where do I start?
All right.
No, so the best off the field, and they don't have to be just guys, Bill, that you played with at Geelong. You need to sprout your wings a little and go to other clubs if you feel there's someone there that's worthy of a mention, or even maybe someone just outside a club but on the fringe.
Right.
All right, old black shoes.
Yeah.
Look at Fat.
What's wrong?
All right, so
You're like the Barnet Scouts, Jim.
7 votes for you, Black. Oh, Black Wheels.
Going trekking.
They're for my dodgy ankle.
So I started with
right.
mine
Yeah.
on the lists of guys that you'd sort of want to go out with. They might be there for protective reasons.
Oh, right.
They could go a bit.
Yes.
Or they might be there for fun.
Right.
Or they might be there because they're good at bonding the team.
Right.
They might be good at other things.
Right.
Oh,
Causing trouble.
good at other things.
Yes.
Have a listen to
yes.
Brian.
The-
Righto.
good at other
Who are they?
So I'm going to go with Mick Malthouse first. Now,
Oh.
not many people would know.
He wouldn't shout.
In the no, Bill, this is not a list.
Bill just waiting. Yes.
Bill. Now, hang
Look
on,
at
Bill.
Fat.
It's a good friend of mine.
Would he shout?
No, that's not true. That's a different list. So I went with Mick Malthouse on the basis that he was into trips away. He was a great organiser. He was the guy that brought everyone together and said, righto, we're going to do this. He was absolutely... And he was also the best prankster at Richmond in the time. In the early 80s, people would not remember, but he was a great prankster. So he is one of them, number
Right.
one.
Yes.
Number two is a guy by the name of Peter Walsh, Woosher.
Yep.
Played in a premiership for Richmond in 1980. Just one of those guys, not a brilliant footballer, but just great fun. Everyone's drawn to him. When you go to a beer garden, you sit down, and I mean everyone. Jim.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you,
I
Brian.
mean everyone
Yes.
comes to Woosher because he's that sort of guy that can all of a sudden turn a table of 5 into a table of 55.
Right.
He is very, very
Right.
good.
Yes.
And a friend of mine, Steve Perry,
Oh, Stevie.
he play a lot of games.
Come on, Stevie.
He was the sort of guy that was a great operator, slightly off Broadway.
Yes.
In that he would be very secretive about it, but you would see glimpses along the way,
That's
bumps
it.
along the way
Yeah.
of where he'd pop his head up. And
big
be,
man.
Yeah, be found out.
And he would be adhering very closely to the current lockdown rules too, Steve.
yeah, he was recently cited at walking the main street of Lawn
Lawn.
and should have been fined.
Hey, Brian, he got pulled up once because he used to drive down to Geelong occasionally.
Yeah. Oh. Right.
And he was coming back from Geelong speeding and got pulled up by the police for
Doesn't
speeding.
sound like him.
And guess what he said? Where were you when Mad Max was around? You didn't get him. And barrelled this copper. We should get Steve Perry on
Come on,
about that.
Stevie.
He did.
He is. He's.
Good man, Steve.
Yeah.
He's,
Yes, good.
they know him well at
Yes.
the Blue and White House. So those three from
Yes.
Richmond.
Yeah.
Steve played at Richmond earlier, then went to Essendon and St Kilda after
Yep.
that.
I'm waiting
Then-
for Michael Turner, Jim.
No, I got him.
I forgot about
No,
it.
I got him. I've got him.
Right.
But you get it. But then there was at Collingwood. There was Dennis Banks. So he was
Oh,
like our protector.
Banksy.
He was like
Yes.
our duck. He
Yes.
would sort of hover around in case there were any issues.
Yes.
But at the same time, he'd have a great time himself. He was what I would describe as pure danger.
Right.
Banksy.
You would take
But at the same time, pure fun, and always had a giggle and a sort of a, he'd be always up to something in
Yes.
the corner.
Did you punch on with him one night? Or was
No,
that
no,
Malane?
that was my next nomination,
Oh.
Darren Malane, who I described as adventurous, devious,
Yeah.
at the same time.
Yes.
But if you follow, beware.
Ross.
Something is going to happen. It could be bad, it could be good.
Right.
But he was always great to hang around with as well. Then there was a guy by the name of Andy Preston. Not many would know Andy, but he was from Geelong. First played with Geelong, played probably 50 games down
Yeah,
there, Bill.
yeah.
He was a farmer
Farmer, yeah.
coming to the city.
Oh.
And he continued to dress in farming clothes and was just, he was one of those guys you would take out and eventually he would mumble. And you couldn't understand a word he said. And he would sleep anywhere. So if you had a barbecue
Sleep.
that night, he would sleep on the barbecue in all the grease and fat, and it would still be on.
You see the one you wound off the back of a boat?
Yes.
Parachute style, and let out the rope about 1.5 kilometres.
Yes, that's the one.
was-
And we also whipped him. He was a good skier, Andy, until he got behind our boat. we had him lined up behind the boat, and we said, Andy, go out wide, go wide.
Yes.
And what he didn't know is when he went wide on that side, there was plenty of river, but we were very close to the other side. So when he whipped across, he's gone, uh-oh,
Bank.
I'm out of water. Straight into the bank, flew about 10 miles, broke his shoulder. He
Got
was
up and went again.
He was very good fun. Now there's those guys that hang around the club duck that are just on the fringes, and this was a guy by the name of Nick Theodosi, the Prestige farmer.
yes.
Now Nick was just a great
Famous.
footy trip away man, and was just great fun to be around as well. Always pointing us in the right direction, and he just loved to be with the boys. And the club trusted him to be able to send this guy away with the team. He would be the club's representative. So Nick Theodosi
Was that Collingwood or Richmond?
a great operator. He was at Collingwood,
Right.
and he was a fantastic operator there as well. There's one that I wouldn't go away with,
You got more than 7 beaten.
or wouldn't have best off field.
Yes.
Probably Francis Burke. Tight,
It's a legend.
boring, great player, Bill,
Great player. Nathaya.
the greatest. But you probably wouldn't have him on your best off field team.
I was just giving Francis a little drive-by.
So there's my
At
seven.
the end of his, I tell you what we need to do. Now, Richmond Social Club, Bristol, we talking
Oh, yes.
those days.
Yes, Richard. By the way, leave your guns at the door when you enter there. Richmond Social Club.
We are taking a break. Duck next has got his 7,
I'm going to get in trouble
and then Fat.
by a few friends.
And Damo, his 7.
I've got one.
Fahad Yacker, of course, and for McDonald's, never miss a single moment with McDelivery, available via the Uber Eats app. Next, we get from Wayne Carey the 7 that he wants at the bar with him. And don't worry, Damo, they'll be filing in behind.
Oh, yes.
I'm getting texts already, JP.